What's up guys, Zeke Central here. In today's video, I am going to be using Guardian and Sheriff for an entire month straight. Now, first of all, what I want to say is actually an apology to everyone who has been waiting or expected this video to come out a lot sooner. It was supposed to be out over 2 months ago. So I really apologize. In this challenge, the rules are simple. You can only use Guardian and Sheriff for the entire month. No other guns, not even in deathmatch you can't use it. Not in the range, not on other accounts. No using other guns at all. The one exception is other games. You could play other games. But I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting any longer than I already have, so let's go ahead and get right into it. In the first week, I did find it difficult to adapt to only having to use one-tap guns and not even being able to spray at all. But I did feel like I had a decent starting point and sort of knew what I was doing enough to, still get some kills with the Guardian and Sheriff. I feel like during the first week is when I realized that this challenge is going to be a lot harder than I thought it would be, because I went into it with a lot of confidence and just being like, this is going to be great, I'm going to rock this, I'm going to improve so much and all that. But it was way more of a challenge than I initially expected. Something that was difficult for me was running into a lot of teammates that would actually get annoyed that I would never grab better guns or buy better guns like Vandals and Phantoms and all that. But that's kind of what I signed up for whenever I agreed to do Guardian and Sheriff only. But on the other hand, I did meet a bunch of people who thought the idea was really cool and supported me a bunch because of it, because they wanted to see me succeed and get a lot better as I went along with the challenge. Initially, my rank started going down quite a bit because it was a big change from being able to use whatever gun I wanted to only being able to use 2 different semi-automatic guns. I went down probably 2 or 3 ranks. It took me a while to climb back up and reach the rank that I formerly was, so it was definitely a very rewarding feeling once I finally got it back. In the first week, it really disciplined me on having good crosshair placement, because if you didn't have good crosshair placement with the Guardian and Sheriff, then you were just going to lose every single one of your gunfights. So you got to make sure you stay focused on your crosshair placement, and this definitely helped me with that. One thing that I was hearing quite a bit was a lot of people not really thinking that I was going to be able to go on for a month, which it did make sense, because using the same 2 guns for a month straight does seem kind of outrageous. But you keep pushing through and you could get good at whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? Whether you're using only Marshall, I actually saw someone do Marshall only and they got up to plat using only Marshall, so that was pretty crazy. Of course, I'm not that insane, you know what I mean? But I am crazy enough to go for Guardian and Sheriff for a month. And while the first week was very difficult, it was definitely the start of a much bigger challenge. Holy shit! Oh my god, dude! The second week was probably where I got kind of frustrated with the challenge, because it felt like even though I'd been putting in a lot of time and effort into just making sure that I keep using these guns and only these guns, it kind of felt like I just wasn't really getting anything in return. But I tried to make sure that I kept playing, and I do feel that I was gradually improving, even if I wasn't noticing it. One thing that I was nervous about was that maybe after all of this it would just sort of be like a waste of time and I would feel like I hadn't really improved or any of that. But one thing that did definitely improve as I kept doing Guardian and Sheriff only was my initial shot. My initial shot accuracy got way better, and I would hit 1-taps way more often. One thing that's funny is I actually had a lot of people complain that I would use only the Guardian in all chat, as if it was some kind of like really easy weapon, as if it was some sort of Odin or Judge. But all those little angry comments that people made just sort of made me want to go ahead and keep on making people wonder why I'm only using the Guardian and Sheriff. However, the urge to just switch to a full auto gun was still really great, So much so that I got back into Apex around this time because I wanted to see how it felt to shoot a full auto gun again, and I admit, it did feel pretty damn good. One thing that definitely helped me with this challenge was my pre-existing skills with Breach, who was pretty much the only agent I used. To anyone who is thinking of trying this challenge or anything similar, which I have no idea why anyone would want to try this, I would really recommend you to play a Flash character, because it makes it a lot easier to get good with the Guardian and Sheriff when all their heads look like light bulbs. However, I will say, for a little while, I tried out Jet, and she worked well with them, so it definitely still can be done without having blinds. It was around near the end of week 2 that I started really feeling like once I switched back to the normal full automatic guns that I will be a lot better, because I started to see how much better my first shot accuracy was, so it made me realize it would be amazing if I had a rifle with it. Overall, even while week 2 was difficult, I was able to push through on to the next week. On to week 3. I think this was the week where I felt like I improved the most. By this point, I knew that I would finish the challenge better than when I started. I still wasn't fully convinced that it would end up being worth my time, however. I finally really got the feel of the guns around this time. I was able to kill consistently and get headshots and not choke as much anymore. To be honest, I really wanted to finish this challenge already, so it was hard not to get really excited for the next month and using normal guns again. However, I knew I had to stay patient, or else it would make this challenge that much harder, which I really didn't need. Even though I saw I was getting better, I tried to make sure I didn't settle and kept focusing on improving. Something that's funny to me is that people thought I would never want to use the Guardian or Sheriff again, but I knew I would still use them even after the challenge. After all, why would I want to waste all that extra skill with those two guns? So yeah, I still use them sometimes. Although I was definitely improving, I still definitely have my moments where I choked or messed up though. But as with all other things, if you do it consistently enough, you'll slowly get averagely better at what you're trying to improve on. I feel like Breach really pairs well with these guns because he could slow people down or blind them, so it sort of matches them to the level of the guns. I also feel that my game sense improved quite a bit as well, because you have to play a lot more careful when you're not able to just spray someone down that you get surprised by. One of the reasons I think I improved in this week is because I played more and I focused my practice in the right places. For some reason, week 3 seemed to be the week where whenever I mentioned the challenge to my friends, they would be like, "Oh, you're still doing that?" And I'm like, "Did you not get that I'm doing it for the whole month? Like, what?" Also around this time, the people that actually remembered I was still doing the challenge started to realize I was actually going to complete this insane challenge that I had taken on. And now finally, on to week 4. In this final week, one thing I want to say is that most of my clips this month had gotten corrupted. So sorry if these clips aren't as good or as long as the other ones. One thing that made this challenge a lot harder for me was that I had a terrible mouse at the time, so my mouse control wasn't as good as it really could have been. But do know that ever since, I have upgraded to a better mouse and switched to a lower sense. Overall, this challenge has been a huge learning experience for me. It sort of taught me how to change up my playstyle a bit and even play a little slower than I used to. I used to mainly rely on spraying in my gunfights, which I hated and is actually why I started this challenge, so I could break that habit. And as I expected, it forced me out of the habit very fast. Week 4 was very fun for me, because a lot of it was just anticipation for the next month and being back to normal guns again. But I also wanted to savor my time because I knew this was the end of something that had proved to be quite fun. So I wanted to enjoy my time. I didn't feel like I got all that much better during the 4th week, besides maybe just becoming a bit more consistent with my aim. After all of that, I was really just curious on how I would do once I could use the other guns again. If I would start using the Vandal and feel like Tins just one-tapping everyone, or if it would just feel like nothing really changed. But the reasonable part of me just told me that I'm overthinking it, and that I should just keep grinding till the end of the month. One thing that made it even harder though was that the last week wasn't just 7 days, it was more like 10, so it made the wait even longer. This whole time, I've just been talking about the things that made this challenge hard or things I didn't like about the challenge, but it actually was really fun completing this, because being limited to only 2 guns really gives the whole game a different feel, which was very refreshing. And finally, with week 4 coming to an end, that means I will soon use normal guns again, and this challenge shall be over. But before the video is over, I gotta show you the final results of me using Vandal again after all of this time without it. Let's roll it. Dude, after fucking 31 days of using only the Guardian and Sheriff, I can finally use a fucking Vandal.
I need a drop.
Brimstone, please buy me. You will be the first person to buy my fucking Vandal. Holy shit, this is a revolutionary moment.
1 enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Yo, bro!
Oh. 78.
Flash out. Blinding. Flash out. Too late.
Reloading.
Take his ass. God damn.
Last player standing. 1 enemy remaining.
Oh yeah, Zeke. Yo, he was mid last time.
Passing.
Don't worry, bro. I let
Fly! Get off my screen!
when it's on my team.
Last player standing.
I'm up.
1 enemy remaining.
Yeah, we win this. Yeah, we win.
Let's go.
Upping bomb.
Blinding.
No need.
Flash out. Concussing. Blinding.
Is an offense to my radiance. Oh, hola.
Okay, wait, get ready for flash. Go.
Spike down A.
Cuss this.
Let's go!
Oh my god.
Flash out.
To the left, 40.
1 enemy
Nice.
remaining.
And it's spawn.
to run.
Nice, Breach.
Let's go.
I didn't hit stage.
Blinding. Concussing.
Let's do it.
Clearing out.
Yes.
Let me kill this guy.
Flash out.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Like him.
One enemy
Yeah.
remaining.
Last one here.
Spike
Oh,
down
explode him.
B.
He's peeking, blinding.
Flash out.
Sending another blind.
Blinding.
He's behind box.
Nice. I was shooting like the very left corner of the box just in case he peeked.
Concussing. Blinding.
1 enemy remaining.
Free out.
Nice. Fucking
So much better.
Always got to overprove
So good.
myself.
Multiple people heard B.
Forever. Blinding. Amateur. Flash out. You're nothing.
You should run.
Let's go. Blinding.
remaining.
You got killed. Oh my god.
Flash out. Blinding. Three out.
Last player standing.
Okay, 180 or 80 to phrase.
Let's go. Concussing. Flash out. Blasting.
One enemy remaining.
Make it four.
Oh, a Guardian. After a month straight of using this, I'm gonna pop off with this shit.
Concussing. Flash out.
I'm getting out of here.
That was the worst I've ever whipped in my life. Thank you all so much for watching my video on using the Guardian and Sheriff for an entire month straight. It was quite a challenge for me, and overall, while even afterwards I don't really feel like 10s like I was hoping I might, I do definitely think I improved and my aim is a lot better than it used to be. So I could definitely have this challenge to thank for that. Again, I've said this a few times now, if any of you are thinking of doing this challenge, do not. Do not. You will regret it. You will cry at night. You will cry. I appreciate you all watching my video. If you haven't already, make sure you go down and like and subscribe if you would like to support me. Or an even better way to support me, where I stream almost every day, is go to twitch.tv/ZekeCentral, where I'll be playing Valorant and a little bit of Splitgate. I want to thank you all for being so patient with me. Have an amazing rest of your days, everyone. Peace out and goodbye.